So I'm glad to introduce Tom and Melinda Jarzynkas. I'm grateful that you guys are going to tell part of your story to us today, because I think that your story is going to give a lot of hope to anybody who's been through any hardship or is going through any hardship or has friends or family going through hardship. 9 years ago, your lives were literally changed forever in one night. What I'd like for you to do, Tom, Melinda, however you guys want to do this, is a lot of people do not know the story. And I'd like for you to take us back 9 years ago. I think it was April, month of April. Zach had just turned 17. In fact, the day that we're taping this would be his 26th birthday.
That's right.
And so if he were here, he'd be 26 years old. Take us back 9 years ago, if you would, and tell us what you were doing and how the news came that there was this car crash.
Well, it was a Friday night, and we had made arrangements to get together with some friends and went out to dinner. Melinda and I were talking. And
we were talking about how good life really was. Things were going well with his job. I was a preschool teacher at the time, and I was very happy with that. Jacob had just started college and had come home to write a speech that he was going to present in front of the student body.
He was involved in student government.
And things were going well for him there. And Zach was really happy. He had his first girlfriend. And we had seen kind of a whole different side of him that this girlfriend had brought in. Something happened and the person didn't come to give us our check, so we went up to pay for the bill. I got a call from Jacob that the people that Zach was with that night were in an accident.
Okay. Now, the people he was with,
they had gone on Zach and his girlfriend had gone on a double date with a boy and another girl. And so I tell Tom this, and Tom said, well, we'll just drive out to Geneva. There's only one road out there. We'll go out there and see what happens. In the meantime, Tom's phone started ringing.
And one of the couples that we'd had dinner with told me that Zachary had been in a crash and we needed to go to Geneva. And the other couple, there was two couples that we had dinner with. The other couple, the husband was a Seminole County sheriff, and he had relayed the information to Sherry, and I could tell she wasn't giving me the full scoop.
okay.
And I knew, okay, something's bad wrong. Okay, so we lined it. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew once I got down Osceola Road that we'd find it. We'd find what was going. So that mission became getting to Osceola Road to discover what was happening with our son and his girlfriend.
So you end up out there, but I don't think they let you actually go all the way to the crash site.
Well, we came up on the scene, and there were cars parked alongside the road. There were rescue vehicles there, and
but there was no ambulance.
We got out of the car, and George was there, and George was the sheriff's deputy that we'd had dinner with. He was there in his civilian clothes, standing in the middle of the road. And we got out of the car, and I ran up to him, and I go, George, where's the ambulance?
Yeah.
And he shook his head. And George is a big guy. Okay, he's a big guy. And he grabbed both of us and stopped us. And I said, I need to go to my son. And he said, that wouldn't be good. And he physically held me, kept me from moving. And that, and it was probably the right thing to do. And everything just went away. I couldn't think, couldn't gather a thought, couldn't get direction, because the unimaginable had occurred.
And then we learned that Brittany was also dead.
What happened?
He was driving too fast.
He just went out of the corner too fast.
He was driving too fast, lost control of the vehicle, oversteered, and broadsided into palm tree, and the side impact. There's vehicles that built that time didn't have side impact, and so both of them were killed instantly.
So here's what struck me. You go from a dinner, a time with friends, and then you go to have dinner together, and you're having a conversation about how perfect, how wonderful things are. You have 2 wonderful sons. Things are going well. Work's going well. You've got some good things going on. From that to life is not ever going to be the same again. And somehow you're plunged into this undesirable transition, this reality. So, but this is 9 years later, and a lot of things have happened. I want to know what decisions Tom and Melinda made when life threw you into this place that you could never plan for and you would never think of it. What sort of decisions were made? What steps were taken along the way, starting that night?
Well, that night, we didn't sleep. Go to bed because that's what you're supposed to do. And there were periods of silence and there was a period of talking. But the one thing that Tom said that night that I can remember is that we just lost a son and I won't lose you. And I remember thinking about that many times through the months ahead because it wasn't always easy. And I knew that we'd be okay because the decision was made that night that we were going to make it through this and we were going to do it together.
And so anything that we faced, we encountered, we knew that we were going to have to get through it because the decision had already been made.
That we were going to do it
We were going to do it. Right. We were going to get through it.
I think that's important for people. There's no uncle. There's no out. We're going to decide we're going to finish this thing together. So however it looks, however much it hurts, when we get through it, there's going to be both of us.
So I went and took the job that Zachary was going to take during the summer, working at a rehab center. And I learned a lot from that rehab center. I learned how to address people when they ask you how many kids you have. We'll always say 2. But then what follows that up is chit chat about your kids. And I would start out saying, well, my oldest is in college. And then, the people that were really intuitive and wanted to know really what was going on in your life would remember there was a second one, and they'd say, and what about the second one? Well, it was a real conversation stopper when he said, well, he passed away in April. But I learned how to deal with that. I learned how to say those words, that he's gone, he's no longer with us. And it was a real healing thing for me. I had to learn to get over that hurdle of actually saying those words, talking about it, and also dealing with people's reactions.
You talk to me about the people's reactions.
Well, many times people just, it's a real conversation stopper many times. It's something, it's the unimaginable for a parent. I was told, one lady told me she understood exactly how I felt. Her cat had just passed away. And I'm sure that she loved her cat dearly, but I just couldn't equate the two. But I began to turn that, instead of being angry, I began to turn that around, how blessed they are that they don't understand.
Nobody can feel your pain. Okay, nobody. I can't miss something that you've enjoyed. Okay, so when they come up and they want to be empathetic, they just don't know how.
Yeah.
All right, and it's most of the time it's not because they're trying to do something bad. Okay, there are some negative influences where people want to bring you down, but most of the time people aren't looking to pile on. They're trying to show that they care, and it's a situation where they don't have experience with it, so they don't know how.